My name is CJ Trainer. My agency recently implemented evidence-based practices in an effort to improve our outcomes. My director said that evidence-based practices don't just apply to programs and services, they apply to training too. So now, we are in the process of shifting the way we think about training. We are exploring what research says about each of our training components, including our learners, our training staff, our content, our evaluation efforts, and the role of training in the agency. To successfully design and deliver learning, we had to know who our learners are and how they learn best. The fact that our learners are adults is an important concept. It turns out that our traditional classroom-based lecture delivery format doesn't always work best. Adult learning theory states that we need to consider several core principles about our learners, including the fact that they are self-directed, problem-centered learners, and that they bring existing mental models with them to training. These existing mental models are really important because it turns out that connecting new information to existing information is how people learn. The more we can connect our content with the learner's existing knowledge base, the more likely they are to retain it. Once we begin to understand the needs of our learners, we started thinking about how we could meet those needs. We realized that we needed to shift from providing information to facilitating learning. This required some of us to change our style and learn some new skills. We now understand that it takes more than subject matter expertise to be a good trainer or designer. The capacity to continue growing and learning at such core competencies as communication, leadership, and information management is equally important. We used a competency model that was specific to learning professionals to provide a new framework for our performance standards in the training function. And we added continued professional development to our performance expectations for all of our training function staff. When we began asking questions about our content, we didn't think there would be much room for innovation because compliance and legal defensibility were non-negotiable factors. As it turns out, even though we didn't have a lot of room to change what we deliver, we do have room for improvement in how, where, and when we deliver it. We discovered that there is a wide body of research that reveals a right way and a wrong way to design and deliver content. Exploring the research really drove home our earlier realization that we need to focus on developing our training staff skill sets. We also discovered that even though we spend a lot of time with our learners in the classroom, most learning actually takes place outside the classroom. This led us to explore how we can utilize on-the-job coaching and mentoring more effectively. Because the research shows that training is a process rather than an event, we began looking at what we could do before and after a training session to support learner readiness and transfer of learning. Once we started thinking about the effectiveness of our design and delivery, we naturally asked ourselves, how do we know we're effective? We realized that what we currently measure is mostly quantitative, the number of participants, the number of hours, etc. And what little qualitative data we were collecting had more to do with what happens in the classroom than with what happens on the job. We decided that we need to shift from testing how much our learners can memorize at the end of a course to evaluating how they apply what they've learned on the job. We also realized that we need to reach beyond the learning objectives, what the learner will walk away knowing or being able to do, and start looking at agency objectives. What will happen in the agency as a result of the training? Whether you're a training director or an adjunct instructor, all the research and information can be overwhelming. In my agency, we developed a strategic plan and we are partnering with other staff in the agency, including supervisors and agency leaders, to implement the plan one change at a time. I used to see myself as a trainer whose primary responsibility was to prepare staff for their jobs. Now, I believe it is my responsibility to help my agency meet goals, carry out the mission, and achieve the vision. If you want to know more about the research behind learning and performance, reading this is a great start. My journey from trainer to performance professional is well underway. Select one of these videos to begin yours.